216. You may not know, and if you don't know, you gonna learn today. Ask Meeks. Come on. Small world. We keep trying. Talk to a G, but I can't get past it. Ask Meeks. You don't know how I feel. Don't be a sucker for love. We repeat the arguments, love lost appeal.
Meeks, what inspired you to start Ask Meeks, and what's your end-all be-all goal with your brand?
So my life, my dating life, has been very, very interesting from start to finish. I always say my life is like a Lifetime movie. So I always, I'm a writer. My goal was always to write a book. And I would, post quotes on Facebook and give advice and things like that. And a very, very good friend of mine said to me one day, she said, you're an awesome writer. She's like, I love reading your stuff. You should start a blog. A blog was the furthest thing, definitely a video blog, was the furthest thing from my mind. But when she said that, I guess it kind of planted a seed. And from there, things just took off. And Ask Meeks happened, and it's been a whirlwind. And the things that have happened to lead up to today, I would have never imagined, down to the people that have come to me and said, hey, I believe in you, I want to help you. And I'm also grateful for all the support I've been getting. And my goal would be to bridge that gap between men and women when it comes to relationships. There is definitely a lot of misconceptions. There's definitely a lot of things that I think that we don't understand about each other. And in today's time, loyalty and love is taboo because everybody's so guarded and broken. It's not cool to be in love. It's not cool to say, hey, I have this great woman or man in my life and I'm going to cherish that. So my goal is to, I guess, just bring back love.
Meeks, what has been your worst date?
Oh, wow. My worst date. I've had so many, and I'm not going to say bad. I don't want to assassinate anyone's character, but I'll say a lot of non-desirable dates. So there's a lot to choose from. I guess if I said my worst one, it would be because I don't consider myself a shallow person. I am not, even though people may think so because I love to take selfies, but the reasoning behind it is because I think I'm the greatest thing in the world. I'm not conceited, I accept my flaws just like the next person. So I guess my worst date would be, I went out on a date with a guy who was all about himself. He literally, from the time that he picks me up, from the time that I use an escape clause and I had to call Carla and tell her to act like, it was an emergency and come get me. But from the time that we, I sat down next to him, and from the time that we parted, this man literally talked about himself. Did you Google me? Look at my master's ring. Here's my book. I'm this, I'm that. And never once asked anything about me. He didn't know anything about me. He didn't care to know anything about me. And the sad part is that we had several conversations before we went out. Several conversations, but he had ample opportunity to get to know me. And I'm thinking, hey, he's going to ask me on this date. But he talked about himself so much, it made me sick to my stomach. Like I had to, and he said to me, he said, oh, you look a little sick. I was like, yeah, I got to go.
So Meeks, we want to know, what was your worst breakup?
My worst breakup? That's actually a trick question. I know it sounds silly, but let me explain. I was in a relationship that I thought was the end-all be-all. I just knew that this was going to be it for the rest of my life. I invested a lot into it, into him, into us, into me growing while I was in the relationship and trying to be a better me for him, for us, So when that relationship didn't work, it was hard for me to deal with in the beginning. But as time went on and I started to reevaluate what went wrong, on my part, or his part, and why it didn't work, I started to think about bad breakups. And when you think about a bad breakup, to me, a breakup with someone who, how should I say, hasn't given you what you need in a relationship or shown you that, you're the one and this is gonna work, why do we count that as a bad breakup? That's actually something that's bound to happen. Like everybody that you meet or you encounter, you date, isn't meant to be the one. Now, when you meet that person who's there for you every time you need them, they're there when you call, You text them, they text you back. There is not any type of confusion or any complications or any wondering if you're the one for them. You know, they know you're the one. Their actions say it, their words say it. Everything, you know, falls into place. Now, losing that would be a bad breakup.
Hey guys, it's your girl Meeks. I am back. What you just saw was a little Q&A I decided that I'll do to kind of give you guys an insight on why Ask Meeks is here, what I'm all about, what's my goal, and a little fun fact about me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We will get into a Q&A. I had a question that came through the inbox that I wanted to expound on. I was able to give some great advice. And I also had a request to talk about dating a coworker. So buckle your seatbelt. So first, let's start off with dating a coworker. So me personally, I wouldn't say mixed emotions, but I think there's two sides to the spectrum with dating a coworker. So the first side I'll deal with is the side that's most talked about. If you see it in most office buildings, especially if there's a lot of people that work there, a lot in call centers, but you have the person at work who wants to date everybody. That person has dated numerous people, passed themselves around. Somebody new comes in, they're the first one on top of that person. You know, that scenario may not be a good idea when it comes to dating coworkers. I think that when you're in a professional setting, you should keep things professional. Not saying that you can't ever date a coworker, but in that scenario, it's kind of a bad idea because you don't want to get the reputation as the office host. You don't want to get the reputation as the person, you know, who comes to work just to hook up and to meet people. There's so many other places that you can meet people. I don't recommend, you know, passing yourself around regardless, but I don't think the workplace is a good setting for that. Now, the second side of the spectrum, I do believe that there are people who meet at work, who can keep it professional, who can keep their business to themselves. It doesn't affect what they do at work, and that's great. If you can find that type of situation, then I say go for it. Just make sure you're keeping in mind, you know, the company that you work for. There are companies where it's against their corporate ethics policy to date or to have any type of relationship with a coworker. So check on that first. But if you can find the right scenario, I say go for it. You know, just keep in mind that you're going to see that person 24/7. So you might want to make sure you like them. Now for Q&A. I was asked some advice for a person who's just starting a relationship and they wanted to know what they should do. The best advice I can give you in the beginning, the first thing you always want to do is to be yourself. If you're trying to grow something with someone and you want them to get to know you, you want them to get to know the real you, not your representative or who you think they want you to be. That's the biggest mistake a lot of people make, is they hold back their feelings. You know, there's no open communication. We may tell a little white lie here and there, thinking that it'll get us brownie points with that person. But in the long run, it doesn't work out, because once they get to know you and they get to see the real you and it doesn't match up to what you portrayed in the beginning, then the relationship's kind of doomed. So you always want to be yourself. Go into the relationship knowing that your best self is worth it. And if they don't like you, then that's fine. Then you can kind of, you know, assess the situation and move on. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is something that is near and dear to me, something that I'm very, very passionate about. And I kind of wanted feedback on this. I don't want to kind of give my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you feel about standards. I mean, I talk a lot about standards, you know, in my posts, memes, and things like that. And I'm sure you guys know how I feel already. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about standards? What do you think about the role that standards play in somebody being single, or someone in a relationship, or, you know, the lack of finding somebody? Where do standards fit into that, and how do they hinder you, or how do they help you? Please comment, let me know. I want that feedback so we can do another video and we can talk about all the great feedback that I got. But that's something that's near and dear to me, and I want to know. Meeks wants to ask you something. I want to know what you think and what you feel. So tonight you learned a little bit more about me, and I hope that was helpful. You learned why I'm here and what I'm doing. I'm not just the annoying girl that's always on Instagram and Facebook and, you know, trying to invade YouTube. Yes, I'm trying to take over, so you'll see me a lot more, hopefully. So we learned that, and then we talked about dating a coworker, And we also had some advice on what to do if you're just entering a relationship. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe, share it, comment, tell me what you think, good, bad, and indifferent. I had my first thumbs down on the video, and I actually kind of liked it. I'm kind of curious as to why I got the thumbs down though, so I need you guys' feedback. Let me know. Answer my question on standards, please. So I'm gonna say goodbye, but I'll be back. Love you.
Vlog life, yo, I be working hard. Y'all need to like start viewing my videos. YouTube, askmeeks. Search it. Yeah, get on that.
216. You may not know, but if you don't know, you gonna learn.